that and not put a burden on taxpayers by choices made through this council. I think that's an appropriate thing for us to make sure we do.
And I guess I would say it seems to me like, I mean, that it was part of the Bear project to do this, and the shops moving were, you know, part of the restoration. So I guess I don't understand why this being a part of that isn't restoration as well.
Elizabeth.
So,
Elizabeth.
Go ahead, sister.
It's Mary Jo. In listening to this whole discussion, I think number one, we need to go back to the reality that the moving of the shops was essential to get at the tailings and repair it. And that project ended up being the example of all of the remediation that should be done and the quality of it that should be done throughout the whole corridor. And I think when you look at how the contract was read, et cetera, and how they performed the work, they took it upon themselves to do much of the work without, you know, the regular salaried guys did the work. The tanks were not moved for probably a variety of reasons. But the fact that it would have been part of the whole project had they not decided to try and make a contract with the gas companies in town, and hopefully it would have been less expensive. That's an expense that is going to continue to go up and skyrocket because you'll never be able to put an amount on it. So I just think in good business, if we can get our tanks back and we can save money by buying in bulk instead of them driving up their trucks individually, it is going to be a benefit to the taxpayers in Butte. So, you know, we need to get to a no-win situation where both parties can come together and say, you know, maybe that really is a pretty good idea. So I'm just going to put that forward.
Thanks, sister.
I would say that listening to all of this, and I was not part of any of these negotiations, I would say is that if it's copacetic, if we can do this without upsetting apple carts that are already been put in place, and if it's legally okay for us to be able to do this, that, you know, and there's not going to be any rubs, that I think that it would be something that would be valuable. And I think that it sounds to me like it needs to be explored a little bit more to make absolutely sure that we are expending these funds in the right way. I mean, that's just the way that I look at it. And I think that, I mean, I get what everybody's saying. I understand that, but I think there's common ground here. And I think if we can make absolutely sure that it's where it needs to be, that, you know, then we should pursue this and try to get this settled. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I've listened to what everybody's had to say. And I think that this is something that I think we should attempt to solve this problem. And if we can do that without, you know, any more rubs, then that's what we should do. So I don't know what the final answer is, but I think that we should pursue it and try to get it accomplished.
And I guess I would just go one more and just say that I appreciate that you're just asking for the savings in that and not the whole cost of the tanks, and that it seems to me like it's kind of a half for half kind of a thing, because it's, you know, the Butte-Silver Bow isn't made completely whole on the tanks, but at least, you know, half of it basically is reimbursed in the savings. So I don't know. That's my sense on it. Any other thoughts, comments?
and, you know, as I said, I was not part of all of this, but we have had discussions at the staff level. We will take it back. We will discuss it again after I know Catherine's on the call.
Okay.
And we will take it back and talk about it, and we'll be in touch with you.
Well, a potential, just real quick, potential is, of all things we did, the only thing that was really massive infrastructure was to the point of the bucket they asked for was municipal water system improvements. We still have some 50 in there, right? So you could potentially entertain a motion to pay it out of that, and with the motion also being that the money when it goes back out of the para-tailored remainders, when it gets split back out, immediately goes back into that fund. So basically, you're just gonna, so rather than having to upend the whole, how do we pull it out of para, we just decide how that money's going back down, and here's an amendment to a plan. And we use the money in the appropriate category.
Go ahead, Doug.
I hate to do the devil's advocate, John, but my only concern with something in that realm is using the municipal water fund, those NRD funds to fund tanks. Tanks are not a natural resource. If there is a connection, it would be through most likely through the area. So, but we will talk about all of that, and we'll get back to you on this.
Well, I think, at the very least, let's get on our next agenda to make a decision based on what you came back to, so.
That sounds great. We're looking at a March meeting for that, so we'll make sure and get it on the agenda for follow up on it. That work?
That works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Sorry, Greg.
appreciate it. Yeah. All right, any other comments before we adjourn? Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. Does anybody make a motion? All right, any second? Donna seconds. We're out of here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, folks. We will end the Teams meeting now. Good night.
Good night.